Hi, my name is Kaylee Fitzwater, and today we'll be going over the book The Housemaid by Frida McFadden and the concepts of intimate partner violence, misogyny, stigmatization of illness, and role performance. I think this is a perfect book to do this project on because it helped me fall in love with reading again, and they are actually coming out with a movie soon. So let's get started. To get started, we can kind of go over a quick synopsis. So, The Housemaid is a book based on Millie, who is a woman who has a troubled past. She's desperate for a fresh start, and she lands a job as a live-in housemaid for the Winchester family, who is very wealthy. So, at first, the job seems like a dream, a free room, in a luxurious home, but it does take a quick dark turn. Nina, which is the wife, she behaves erratically and cruelly while her husband Andrew appears calm and kind. But as time goes on and Millie becomes entangled in the family's secrets, she realizes that nothing is really as it seems. The story has the psychological twists, manipulation, and power struggles, which leads to shocking revelations about who the real villain here is. This is a psychological thriller that explores themes of abuse, deception, and survival. So, the concepts that we're going to go over, each one is going to have an example and a quote from the character and why it relates to that concept. To start with intimate partner violence, we are going to go over Andrew, which is the husband. He's actually revealed to be the true abuser in the household. While he initially appears calm and supportive, it's later uncovered that he has been psychologically tormenting Nina for years. He locks her in the attic, he gaslights her, manipulates her into believing she's mentally unstable, which is a textbook case of control, which is a form of IPV that relies on emotional and psychological abuse rather than physical violence. A quote that relates to this is, "He's not who you think he is. Behind closed doors, he's someone else entirely." Next concept is misogyny. We are going to use Nina as this example. Nina is portrayed pretty early on in the novel as unstable and irrational, which is a common misogynistic stereotype. Her behavior is dismissed and ridiculed, even by Millie, who believes that Andrew's the good guy here. This book critiques how women's emotions and mental health are often weaponized against them, which reinforces the narratives that are painted that present women as crazy or unfit. A quote to kind of represent this is, "Nina wasn't just the boss, she was a tyrant in heels, making everyone's life miserable with her sharp tongue and cold stare." Next up is role performance. For this one, we're going to review how Millie and Nina both kind of relate to this concept. Millie is the housemaid, so she must perform the role as the obedient and grateful employee to maintain her job and housing. She hides her initial suspicions and discomfort, and she adapts her behavior to meet the expectations of the Winchesters, while Nina performs the role of the crazy wife to try to manipulate perceptions and ultimately escape her abuser. The performances reflect um, Irving Goffman's theory that people manage their behavior to fit social roles and expectations. A quote that relates to role performance in this book is, "I initially wanted to hire a maid in hopes that she would become my replacement. That if Andrew fell in love with another woman, he would finally let me go. But that's not why I hired Millie. That's not why I gave her a copy of the key to the room. And that's not why I left her a bottle of pepper spray and the blue bucket in the closet. I hired her to kill him. She just doesn't know it yet." And last but certainly not least, we will go over nature versus nurture. All three main characters represent this concept. Starting with Nina, her behavior is influenced by experiences with Andrew. She's manipulated to believe that she's actually mentally unstable, and her erratic actions and responses to her psychological abuse seem outlandish. And maybe she wouldn't act this way if her husband Andrew wasn't abusive. A quote to represent this is, "My husband is a monster, I say aloud. He tortures me. He holds me hostage in the attic." Next will be Millie. She struggles with trust because of her past. Her experience kind of shaped her present behavior of being sort of a quote unquote bad girl. She places judgment on Nina too from the biases that were influenced by her past. A big quote that represents this is, "I don't trust me. That's the bigger problem." This kind of goes with how she doesn't trust because of her past. Maybe if she was nurtured more during her adolescence years, she would be more caring, she would be on the right path, and she wouldn't be hired to kill somebody, essentially. And finally, Andrew. He comes from a very strict and abusive household, and then his abuse is projected onto Millie and Nina. He's manipulative and controlling, um, and he probably got this personality and this need to control from his childhood. The quote that relates to this is, "If you don't take care of your teeth, then you will lose the privilege to have teeth." This was a quote from his mother, which goes to show that maybe if she was more nurturing, that he would be a better person all around. And that kind of sums it up. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and the next slide is references if you're interested in going further into these concepts or into the book itself. Thank you.